Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good, everyone? We're back for another showcase. This is one that has been kind of rusting away in my deck, but I did want to bring this guy back because he used to be one of my favorite units, and this is the TEQ Final Form Cooler. As you saw, I went pretty much all crits, even though he's got kind of a rare chance to stun. It's not really worthwhile enough, so at the time I basically just gave him full crits. Now in terms of like the showcase itself, he will be linked up with the Strength Cooler unit because all links are shared between the two units. That way you can maximize the abilities for the TEQ version of Cooler. Plus, Strength Cooler does provide bonuses to stats depending on the transformation boost or the Conquest of Terror, depending on the situation. But luckily the TEQ Cooler falls into both, so you'll still get a boost overall from every single situation. So that's pretty much what the structure will be for the showcase itself. I did throw in a pop quiz in the last one, so shout out to SFNR and Weeblord for getting the right answer. AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku was the first EZA to be implemented into the game, and you guys got that correct, so shout out to you guys for that one. I think for this video's question, I'll throw in a little bit more difficult one, a little bit of a throwback to the manga itself. How long did it take Master Roshi to get the sacred water from Korin? If you know the right answer to that, go ahead and type away in the comments. The first one to get that right, I will shout out in the next video, so just leaving that out there. Okay, so back to the TEQ Cooler. Let's talk about the unit. Leader skills a little bit obsolete. AGL, TEQ, and physical type Ki plus 2 HP attack and defense increase to 30%. The super attack will cause supreme damage with a rare chance to stun the enemy. Again, I gave this guy full crits because I'm not really going to bank on a 20% chance to stun the enemy for 2 turns. Now, hopefully with the EZA, when it eventually happens, this guy will get an upgrade to, the super attack where it becomes medium chance maybe. But for the time being, it's a rare chance, which is equivalent to 20%. Passive skill is pretty straightforward. Attack increase to 90% of the start of the turn, so at least he gets a pretty decent boost overall to attack, even though defense is definitely lagging on that side. In terms of links, at level 10, you're looking at Strongest Clan in Space is all enemies defense minus 10% and Ki plus 2. Thirst for Conquest is attack and defense increase of 15%. Big Bad Bosses is attack and defense increase of 25%. Brutal Beatdown is attack increase of 15%. Metamorphosis is recovers 5% HP and attack and defense increase of 10%. Universe's Most Malevolent will be attack increase of 20%. And Fierce Battle is also going to be an attack increase of 20% at level 10. In terms of the categories, Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, Conquest of Terror, Target Goku, Final Trump Card or Last Resort, and Space Traveling Warrior. So a lot of these categories are very, very good categories that this guy can fall under. So yeah, definitely a fair amount of choices here in terms of like the types of teams you want to run this guy on. Not necessarily saying that you would, but the option's certainly there. Again, for this showcase, it's strictly on the Conquest of Terror / Transformation Boost category setup. It just seems like the best way to go about building the teams that way. At 100% potential, the stats are the following: HP of 14,129, attack is 13,507, and defense is 9,637. 12 key multiplier is 145%. So again, this guy is certainly obsolete in terms of the options you have. Like, this guy's pretty good, but you have the physical type Dokkan Fest Final Form Cooler, obviously way better, and then you also do have the World Tournament AGL version, not quite to the degree of the TEQ guy, but that version does provide a pretty big support toward the AGL type, so kind of a different benefit of including that unit on certain teams over this guy. But ultimately, I really wanted to bring this back and test them out with max level links. This is one of the units that I had planned on doing it, and it took a little while till I came around to it. But with that being said, I'm certainly not disappointed with the output. I think overall you're looking at maybe upwards of 2.4 million in terms of attack stats. Now that's pretty damn good, but that is, given the fact that there, it's a double support rotation basically, because Strength Cooler will be, guaranteed to be on one, and then, I might have one of the floaters as a support as well. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily unrealistic because pretty much all the units included on here outside of the TEQ cooler, I typically do run on this category setup, so it's certainly realistic, but just wanted to note out that it is loaded up with support when you're seeing 2.4 million attack stats. Outside of that, like you saw, it'll range from anywhere from like 1.7 to 2 million plus, I would say. This is probably, the safe bet to assume there, but with that being said, I mean, that's a pretty solid output. Again, the only thing that really hurts this guy right now is the fact that it is a pretty massive defensive liability. I mean, I'm running through some of the easier options in Infinite Dragon Ball history, and he's still getting a pretty decent amount of damage applied to him. So, certainly easy A. Hopefully it will happen one day, but I think in terms of like the stuff I'd like to see upgraded, obviously the rare chance increasing to medium chance to stun the enemy with the super attack, and then the passive skill, maybe a little slight bump in the attack boost from 90%, let's just say modestly speaking like 100%, and then tack on like a defensive boost of a minimum of like 50%, ideally 60%, I think would be cool. And then obviously the trend seems to be tacking on another secondary passive along with that based on key or whatever the case is, and you have different skill sets kick in, or based on an enemy category criteria, you're able to kind of unleash the full passive skill set. But I would imagine something like that similarly would happen for this unit, and I think it's more or less good enough in that regard. If it did come down to this unit getting an easy A, I'm pretty sure it'll be the Extreme Z area, I assume. Even though this was kind of I can't remember if it was a Dokkan Fest or like a main featured unit on the banner when it went live, but either way, this guy is certainly a potential to become better than he currently is. Not saying he's terrible by any means. I've tested a lot of units out, and some perform way worse than this, even with max level links. So I think this guy's got the potential to be decent, but obviously he's not going to take over the physical version counterpart and whatnot. So it'll be kind of a secondary option at the end of the day. But that's the beauty of it, right? Is to be able to see the units that aren't necessarily in the limelight as much, seeing how they perform with level 10 links, and really just unleashing their potential to their maximum abilities, and seeing how they perform. So I kind of went in with certain expectations on this unit, and to be honest, I wasn't necessarily disappointed. I think this is kind of the level that I was expecting to see, and pretty much performed to the level of what I expected to see. So I think with that being said, overall, first of all, the grind process to get the max level links was worth it in that regard, and if an easy A potentially comes around, like, he'll be ready for it. All the links are already grinded out, so really just have to sit and wait and see what happens. But eventually, hopefully it'll happen. Maybe a potential easy A with the AGL version too. Maybe like with the physical version getting the easy A, they might provide secondary options for some of the other units maybe, but it's really hard to say at this point. But eventually it'll happen. It's just a matter of when, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to. So I did transform the cooler here just to kind of show how things would work with this setup, even though you kind of lose the supporting function by transforming it. I figured I would at least include one clip of the actual transformation for Strength Cooler taking place and how this guy would link up. So this is kind of like a situation where it's one supporting unit on the rotation, and still be able to put out 1.9 million in attack stats. I think that's more than enough for this unit to be able to perform, and I wouldn't necessarily ask any more of it. So I think in summary, this guy certainly needs the help. He's decent right now with max level links, but he could certainly be better. Hopefully an easy A will happen in the near future. Like I said, maybe with the easy A for the physical version, this guy will be kind of an Extreme Z area unit type deal, so we'll see what happens. But at least for the time being, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video for the 100% potential showcase for the TEQ Final Form Cooler with level 10 links. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I will catch you guys later.